Falling on my knees, giving everything to the King of Kings. What child is this? Whose crown is this? On the ground I live, falling on my knees, giving everything to the King of Kings. Falling on.
How do you mend a broken world? Give it a gift it can never earn. Pour out a love that it don't deserve. Send it a son and a savior. It was a silent night, a holy night. All was calm and all was bright around young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Hush, hush, I hear the clouds speak, sing of his glory, singing hush, hush. I see the sky part showing the Father's heart, singing hush, hush. I see the stars fall, heaven is smiling down, singing hush, hush. Making my wrongs right, bringing me life on a Saturday night. On a Saturday night. How do you repay the gift of life? What's the return on his sacrifice? 'Cause silver and gold won't suffice, no, no. So I'm giving my heart as my reply. It was a silent night, a holy night. All was calm and all was bright around young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Hush, hush. I see the clouds speak, sing of his glory, sing hush. I see the sky part showing the Father's heart, sing hush, hush. I see the stars fall, heaven is smiling down, sing hush, hush. Making my wrongs right, giving me life. I see the clouds speak, sing of his glory, singing hush. I see the clouds part, showing the Father's heart, singing hush. I see the stars fall, heaven is smiling down, singing hush. Making my wrongs right, giving me life on the Saturday night. Until then a child is born, a son is given on the Saturday night. All the glory, all the honor on a Saturday night.
It's a Saturday night, it's a holy night, it's a Saturday night, it's a holy night.
You gotta
It's the advent of Cyber 2023, and we are on a mission to save Christmas. McGreedy, you are going down. I have the THM Army with me. Let's go. Yeah. I'ma pop a shell, but not what you think. Who am I root? Make it dead a leg sink. We are on a mission, we're here to save Christmas. McGreedy's going down, forget about the riches. Rumors gonna round, McSkitty's got snitches. It's an insider threat, and everyone's suspicious. Recon McRed is hunting down a witness. He says he needs our help, so power on your system. Get your black hoodie, boot up the attack box. Hackers come together and take command of the SOC. It's the THM Army, McGreedy will get caught from the 0x1 all the way up to the gods. And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my live stream. Guys, I just realized I can't start yet. I don't have my Christmas gear on. We can't save Christmas without Christmas gear. Give me 10 seconds. Much better. All right. I realized that as soon as I switched over to my face cam, that I didn't have my Christmas tie on or my Christmas hat, and there's no way we can do Advent of Cyber without it. But hey everyone, my name is Tyler Ramsey. Welcome back to my live stream, or if you're watching after the fact, welcome to my YouTube page. What we are doing is I am streaming live every day in December around this time, which is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn, and we are working through Advent of Cyber live. And here's what I'm doing a little bit different than some content creators. I do not go through these rooms ahead of time. That's kind of how I do content. We just dive into it, stumble our way through it, see what we can learn. So I have not gone through this room. The only thing I've done is booted up the machine so it's ready, but haven't even looked at it. So we are going to dive into the task for today and continue our mission of trying to save Christmas. Without any further ado, let me share my screen. Let me get the chat pulled up, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, looks like we are good to go. If anything does sound off, guys, please let me know, and I'll do my best to fix it. But let's dive into the task for today. 'Tis the season for log chopping. To take revenge for the company demoting him to regional manager during the acquisition, Tracy McGreedy installed the Cryptoid Miner, a malware he downloaded from the dark web, on all workstations and servers. Even more worrying and unknown to McGreedy, this malware includes a data stealing functionality, which the malware author benefits from. The malware has been executed, and now a lot of unusual traffic is being generated. What's more, a large bandwidth of data is seen to be leaving the network. Guys, I'm getting a sore throat. Even if I get sick, I'm still gonna stream. We'll just stumble our way through it. But I'll try not to cough on my mic. Forensic McBlue assembles a team to analyze the proxy logs and understand the suspicious network traffic. So, what are our learning objectives? Well, number one, revisiting log files and their importance. 2, understand what a proxy is and breaking down the contents of a proxy log. 3, building a Linux command line skills to parse log entries manually. And finally, analyzing a proxy log based on typical use cases. So a log primer. Well, before analyzing a data set of proxy logs, let's first revisit what the heck are log files. A log file is like a digital trail of what's happening behind the scenes in a computer or software application. It records important events, actions, errors, or information as they happen. It helps diagnose problems, monitor performance, and record what a program or application is doing. For clarity, let's look at a quick example. This cough is going to be the death of me, y'all. So McGreedy, first he tried to DOS, denial of service me, and was that last stream when my entire machine shut down. I said, hey, sorry, it's turning off. Now he's trying chemical warfare and has sent a virus to my house, like a real virus trying to get me sick. But McGreedy's not going to win. We're still going to work our way through this. All right, the example above is an entry from Apache web server log. We can interpret it easily by breaking down each value and its corresponding purpose. We have the source IP address, the source that initiated the request. We have the timestamp. We have the HTTP request, which is a get for robots.txt. Oh my goodness. I'm going to make it, guys. The cough just started before I went on stream. I'm telling you, it's McGreedy. We have our status code of 200, And then we have the user agent being used. It's typically tied, so whether it's Chrome, Firefox, or Chrome means it was done from the command line. Being able to interpret a log entry allows us to contextualize the events, whether for debugging purposes or for hunting potential threat activity. So what's a proxy server? Well, since the data to be analyzed is a proxy log, we must understand a proxy server. A proxy server is an intermediary between your computer or device and the internet. When you request information or access a web page, your device connects to the proxy server instead of connecting directly to the target server. The proxy server then forwards your request to the internet, receives the response, and sends it back to your device. To visualize this, refer to the diagram below. All right. So without a proxy, user attempts to access Google. We go to Google, but with one, we go through this proxy. So this is like the man in the middle, essentially, and the proxy connects to Google. It can be used for quite a few different purposes. A proxy server offers enhanced visibility into network traffic and user activity since it logs all web requests and responses. This enables sysadmins and security analysts to monitor which websites users access, when, and how much bandwidth is used, so they know all the times you go on Facebook while you're working. It also allows admins to enforce policies and block specific websites or content categories. Given that our task is hunting suspicious activity on the proxy log, we need to know what possible malicious activity can be seen inside one. Let's elaborate on a few common examples of malicious activities. So download attempt of a malicious binary. We connect to a known malicious URL binary, which we can see pretty obviously there. Data exfiltration, high count of outbound bandwidth due to file upload, so OneDrive. And continuous C2 connection, high count of outbound connections to a single domain in regular intervals. And actually what good C2s do is they can build in, I'm trying to think what the term is called. I'm blanking on the term, but it basically makes it irregular to try to hide in the traffic. C2s that aren't configured well will do this. Like every 5 minutes it will make this request, but good C2s configured properly, they're harder to detect because they will hide in the traffic and do it at intervals that are not regular. Accessing the data set, we already started the VM. I have the split screen pulled up right here. Now we must understand the log contents to work on the data set provided. To make things fun, let's start playing with it by clicking the Start Machine button in the upper right corner of the task. The machine will start in split screen view. If the virtual machine isn't visible, use a show split, blah, blah, blah. The VM contains a proxy log here. So let's check it out. Let me zoom in on here for you guys. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay. So you can see it's pretty massive. $49,000 lines, almost 50,000 lines. So yeah, something you wouldn't want to manually look through. You can skip the following section if you're already familiar with following Linux commands, cat, less, head, tail. Okay, I am familiar with those. Oh, is this the one right here? I am familiar, but I do want to go through all the material for Advent of Cyber so that those of you who are new can fully follow along and hopefully understand it a little better. So I'll go through this. So we're going to understand some of this. So you already saw what I did right away. We catted it. Cat stands for concatenate. It allows us to combine and display the contents of multiple files. So you actually saw what I did. When I catted it, what I did is I piped it, and it's probably going to talk about pipe, but it's basically saying, hey, take this output and send it somewhere else. And I did word count and -L for lines. I want to know how many lines are in this file. So that's what I did right away, using some of these basic Linux commands. Really good to get a hold of them, though. So you might have been overwhelmed by the content in the proxy log. That's because a cat command dumps all the content and only stops once the end of the file has been rendered. But don't worry, we'll learn more tricks to optimize the output of our commands in the following sections. So here is one. Less will show less stuff, obviously. Press up and down button to move one line at a time. Whoops, I think I need to click the terminal. There we go. So then it makes it more like, I don't know, an ebook maybe would be a proper description of it. And then we can exit the view by pressing the Q button just on your keyboard. Head, this command lets you view the contents at the top of the file, which will show the top 10, I believe. Yep. Yeah, the first 10 entries is what I assumed. To specify the number of lines to be displayed, use the N option to go with the count of lines. So if you just want to see the top one, that's the first entry. Tail is the same exact thing as head, but of course starting from the back. So tail will show the last 10, and then tail N1 will show the very last log. Word count, you guys, I already showed you guys how I did that. It prints the count of lines, words, and characters. For this test, we'll need to focus on the line count. So you guys already saw me do that. I catted it first, but either way works. And I said, like, there's a lot of lines at almost 50,000. The NL line stands for number of lines. It renders the contents of the file in a number line format. And there you go. So we can see all the lines. This command is very helpful if you used before the head or tail command, since the line command can be used as a reference in trimming the output. Knowing the line number of the log entry allows you to easily manage the values rendered as output. Now that we have started seeing the log contents, let's keep learning about them by breaking down each log entry. So chopping down the proxy log. Log McBlue tells us that he has configured the Squid proxy server to use the following log format: timestamp, source IP, domain port, HTTP method, HTTP URI, status code, response size, and user agent. Let's use one of the log entries as an example and compare it to the format. So we have the timestamp right there, the source IP right there, the domain and port right there, the HTTP method right here, the URI, this is just getting like the index essentially, the status code of 400, the response size of 630, and then of course the user agent, all this stuff. Guys, I don't know where this cough came from, y'all. McGreedy's taking me down. I want to say hello to those of you on Twitch, Peeps, and Donald 004. Good to have you guys. Let me see who's on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, we got Joel and Chris and Tulin. Good to have all of you here. Okay, so let's just do what we just did. As you can see in the table above, we can break the log entry down and assign a position to each value so it can be easily interpreted. Now let's continue by using another Linux command line tool to split the log entries per column. This is the cut command. The cut command allows us to extract specific sections or columns of lines from a file or input stream by cutting the line into columns based on delimiter and selecting which columns to display. This can be done using the D option for delimiter and the F for position. The example below uses a space as its delimiter and only displays the timestamp, column 1, after cutting the log with space. So, man, this is going to get old, my cough. If we do head-n, let me turn off desktop audio so you guys don't hear that silly beep. There we go. So there's the top one, and we are going to cut. So we're going to do cut first, and then it says, hey, what's the delimiter? What separates the lines? And we just want the timestamp, right? So we can see each one of these sections it's talking about is separated by this space right there. So that's what we're doing. We're just saying, hey, we want the delimiter to be a space, and then the position we want is F1. So if we were to do F2, then we get the IP address. And if we go back to the head command, we can see kind of how that's working. So F1 is this, F2 would be this, F3 would be this, F4 would be this, F5 would be this, F6, F7, F8, etc. It's also possible to select multiple columns, just like in the example below, which chooses the timestamp, column 1, the domain, port, column 3, and status code, column 6. So let's give that a shot. Our delimiter, and then what we want to specify, F1, F3, F6, access log. There we go, beautiful. Lastly, the space delimiter won't work if you plan to get the user agent column, since this value may contain the space, just like in the example log. Okay, so if we look at, let's look at this ourselves before we read ahead. Let's do like, there we go, we have one there. So we have timestamp, source IP, domain port, HTTP request, the URI, the HTTP status code, the length, and then we have the user agent. So if we just do a space, you can notice it's not going to get all this because we have spaces in the user agent. Instead, the only thing that we have that separates it is this right there. So we should be able to use that. Let's see. So given this, you must change the delimiter and select column 2 because the user agent is enclosed with double quotes. Yeah, so it's becoming 2, of course, because this, if we use that as our delimiter, this is all 1 right there, and then that would be 2 right there. So let's give that a shot. Cut -D, so that quotation, F2 because it's field 2, and then access log. And then we have all of our user agents. Okay, in the example above, we use column 2 since column 1 will provide the contents for the first. So yeah, let's try that to show you guys what that looks like. There we go. So that's everything but the user agent. Linux pipes, which I just talked about briefly a little bit ago. In the previous section, we introduced some Linux commands that would be useful for investigation. To utilize all these commands and produce an output that can provide meaningful information, we can use Linux pipes. In Linux or Unix-like operating systems, a pipe, and it's similar in PowerShell, but slightly different. I think that might even be a different term, but PowerShell uses pipes as well. A pipe, or that character, is a way to connect two or more commands and make them work together seamlessly. It allows you to take the output of one command and use it as input for another command. We'll introduce more commands by going through some use cases. So get the first 5 connections made by that specific source IP. To do this, we'll combine the grep command with the head command. Grep is a command in Linux that is used for searching text within files or input streams. It typically follows this syntax: grep, options, string to search, and file name. Let's use the command to focus on the connections made by the first IP by executing that to limit the display to the first 5 entries. We can append head and 5 to set that command to achieve our goal. So let's do that. Grep, and then we want to specify our address right there, 96, access log, and then we want to pipe it over to head-n5 for the first 5 entries. The first command's output may have been a little too overwhelming since it provides every connection made by the specific IP. Meanwhile, appending a pipe with the head command limited the results to 5. So 2, get the list of unique domains accessed by all workstations. To do this, we'll combine the sort and unique commands with the cut command. Sort is a Linux command used to sort the lines of text files or input streams in ascending or descending order, while the unique command allows you to filter out and display unique lines from a sorted file or input stream. Note, the unique command requires a sorted list to be effective because it only compares the adjacent lines, right? So if there's A, B, 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 A, then it wouldn't work because it wouldn't catch those 2 A's. To achieve our goal, we will start by getting the domain column and removing the port. When we have the list of domains, we'll sort it and get the unique list using the sort and unique commands. So the first thing, let's remember everything we've done at this point. So if we just do access log 5, remember our delimiter, what are we trying to get? Gosh, this is going to kill me. Man, the domain port. So if we do it by spaces, we have field 1, field 2, and field 3 right there. So cut, our delimiter is a space, F3, because remember, field 1, field 2, field 3, access log, and then we want to cut because... what are we trying to get for sure? Oh, we just want the domain. Got it. So then what we're doing is something very similar. Now we only have this. So if we want to only get the domain, we have to add another delimiter here with our cut command. And as you can imagine, our delimiter would be this. Gosh. And of course, that would be F1. Yeah, so that actually works. After retrieving the domains, the sort command arranges the list in alphabetical order. So we're just taking that previous command and then piping it over to sort. And then we have alphabetical order. And lastly, gosh, guys, sorry for coughing so much. I kid you not, I was not coughing at all today until a little bit before the stream started, and all of a sudden, McGreedy got me sick. Lastly, the unique command removes all the duplicates. So we have sort there, and now we say, hey, we just want the unique domains. And there we go. You can try to execute the commands one at a time to see the results before adding a pipe command. Display the connection count made on each domain. We already have the list of unique domains based on our previous use case. Now we only need to add some parameters to our commands to get the count of each domain accessed. This can be done by adding the C option to the unique command. Because that's saying, hey, how many of these are being accessed? So we know global sign was accessed 1,860 times, Office 4,992 times, and etc. Moreover, the result can be sorted again based on the count of each domain by using the N option of the sort command. What are we doing here? The result can be sorted again based on the count of each domain by, oh, sorting it again. I got it. So then it shows the less domains up above and the more access domains down here. Based on the result, you can see that the count of connections made for each domain is sorted in ascending order. If you want to make the output appear in descending order, use the -R option. There we go. Note it can also be combined with the N option, so NR for in together, which is what we did. You can play with all the above commands to test your capabilities in combining Linux commands using pipes. So hunting down malicious traffic. Now that we have developed the skills needed to assist Forensic McBlue, let's get down to business. To start hunting for specific traffic, suspicious traffic, let's try to list the top domains accessed by the users and see if the users accessed anything unusual. You can do this by reusing the previous commands to retrieve the connection count for each domain and tell N10 to get the last lines. So we just do sort N here. Ooh, I don't know. Frostlings-big bad stash.thm. That looks suspicious to me. I don't know about you guys, but it looks suspicious to me. Check the list of domains. You'll see that Microsoft owns most of them. Out of the 10 domains we can see, one seems unusual. Let's use that domain with the grep and head command to retrieve the first 10 connections made to it. All right, let's do it. So we're going to grep for that domain, Frostlings big bad stash.thm. I wonder if I misspelled anything there. On our access log, let's see if that command works first, and it does. Okay, beautiful. And then we want the top 5 here. Okay. So it's going there. Let's remember this again. We have our timestamp. Here's the source IP, and they're all the same. Going to Frostlings big bad stash.thm, and we're doing a GET request for storage.php and some goodies here. It's happening like every second. With the Go HTTP client. So that's interesting, like Go witness type stuff. Upon checking the list of requests made to that domain, we can see something unusual with the string pass of the goodies parameter. Let's try to retrieve the data by cutting the request URI with equal as its delimiter. So if you press up arrow on your keyboard, it will run the same command that we've already done. But what we're going to do now is we're going to cut. So still grep that on the access log, but we want to cut in our delimiter. First we'll do a blank space because we want to get to, what are we getting? Oh, just this PHP data. All right. So if we do a blank space, let's count this. We have field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, and then field 5. So we want to do field 5. And then we want to cut it again. And so if we focus on this field, remember this is our 5th field, what is the delimiter? I'm saying that wrong, it's hard to say, that separates our data. Well, if we look at this, it would be the equal sign, and then of course it would be F2. So our delimiter would be that, and then that's going to be field 2. And there we have all the data. Based on the format, the data sent seems to be encoded with base64. Using this theory, we can try to decode the strings by piping the output to base64 decode. So press up arrow, very similar command before, but now we're going to use that pipe command, and base64-D is just built into Linux. We can try to decode it. Which, there we go. We got like toys that people want. We have, looks like a flag here. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. I don't have to find it later. Let's drop this flag down wherever it goes. All right, back up. Oh, it's just about at the end. Did you notice that the decoded data seems to be sensitive data for Antarctic crafts? This might be a case of data exfiltration. Congratulations, you have completed the investigation through log analysis and uncovered the stolen data. The next step for Forensic McBlue's team in this incident is to apply mitigation steps like blocking the malicious domain to prevent any further impact. All right, so how many unique IP addresses are connected to the proxy server? Well, let's remember how we do this. If we do head-n5, so we can remember what this looks like, we want to pull out the IP addresses. Gosh, guys, this cough is going to drive me absolutely crazy. All right, so how many unique IP addresses? Well, if we look at this, if we do cut and our delimiter of a space, which would be fine, we do field 1 and field 2. So we want field 2. Let me just see if that works. Oh, maybe I should specify the file, right? That would be a good idea. Okay, so that works. We know that that pulls out the IP addresses correctly, but we want to know how many unique IP addresses. And if we sort it, we can sort it that way, and then it will sort it all together, and we can pipe that sort to unique. And then, I mean, it's easy to see, but we could pipe that even a word count -L, and I think the answer would be 9. How many unique domains were accessed by all workstations? So let's start that over for good practice. So unique domains is what we're looking at now. If we do a head/n5, just so we can see how it's set up again, our domain is right there. So we'll do our cut command, our delimiter of a space, and then let's count it again. Field 1, field 2, field 3. So that's going to be field 3, but then we don't need the port. So let's access log that. Let's make sure that works. It does, but we don't need the port, so let's do that again. Let's pipe it over to cut. Our delimiter is going to be that because we can take the port off. Whoops, it'd be like that. And then we want field 1 because that would just be the domain. There we go. Now we have just the domains. Now we can sort that and then unique it. And then, whoops. $111. What code is generated by the HTTP request to the least access domain? Okay. Was it sort n? Hold up. So NR would be the opposite way. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So the least access domain would be this partner services, right? I'd assume. So we could just grep this. And we can see it's a 503. Based on the high count of connection attempts, what is the name of the suspicious domain? So if we go back to this and just sort that way, that's this one, of course. What is the source IP of the workstation that accessed the malicious domain? Which we had that before, although I'm not paying attention to chat. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything on chat. Don't want to be ignoring you guys. All right, I don't think I missed anything. Cool. What is the source IP of the workstation that accessed the malicious domain? That's kind of what we were doing up here, getting that source IP information. But let's do it again. So the source IP of the workstation that accessed the malicious domain. So actually, the easy way to do that, guys, is just this. If we grep, we could just literally grep for that domain, and we would be able to see that information. So you could do all the crazy piping stuff. We've already demonstrated that. But hey, work smarter, not harder, right? Big bad stash.thm. And we can see the IP right here. How many requests were made on the the malicious domain in total? Okay, if we wanted to do that, let's start over again just for practice. So here is what that looks like. And we want to know the number of requests to that malicious domain. So if we do that, we can do cut. Remember our delimiter. We want delimiter to be a space because we're going 1, 2, 3. So we want field 3, and then we can, on access log. And then we can cut that again with the delimiter of this. And then we want field 1. Let's just see if that pulls out our domains for us. And it does pull out the domains for us. And then if we do sort /n, okay. I always get sort and unique confused, obviously. And then grep this. 1581. Boom. I did it. All on my own. With a cough. I don't know why this cough showed up, guys. As I was saying, I was totally fine until I jumped on stream. And then as soon as I started streaming, I got this crazy cough. I'm assuming it will be gone tomorrow. But look, guys, even if I get sick, Christmas isn't going to save itself. So I'll still be here. I'll do my best not to cough into the microphone. But we are going to save Christmas. I'm determined to do every day of Adventist Cyber on live on stream. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We learned a lot about some basic Linux command, doing manual log analysis, finding the malicious domain, and we continue to save Christmas. So thank you guys again for taking the time to join me. Just a reminder, I am doing this every night. So come back tomorrow night, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be back on working live through day 8. So thank you guys for being here. I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.